the Dark World follows Thor as he battles an enemy that predates the universe's existence before he destroys the Nine Realms. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Thor. Thor is my least favorite Avenger. And with the first Thor, I thought it was an okay movie. I liked it. I didn't think it was that great. Now, this movie is directed by Alan Taylor. He has done episodes of Game of Thrones, and you definitely see his style in the movie. Now, this movie stars Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston, Natalie Portman, and Anthony Hopkins. Now, one thing I like about this movie more than the first one is that the action is a lot more prominent and in your face, because in the first movie, the action was there, but it was gone in the blink of a second. What makes this movie shine more than the first one is the two lead stars of Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston, because with Chris Hemsworth, he's like a rock star playing Thor, because I don't think anybody can play Thor other than Brad Pitt if he was younger. But Thor is played by the right person, by Chris Hemsworth, because he has that charisma of a young, arrogant warrior that is willing to do good. Anyway, Tom Hiddleston, I think he had some of the best parts in the movie. He definitely gave this movie a shine to it, and he's definitely one of those likable villains. But for me, this movie, even though I like it than the first one, I just found it a little generic in my opinion, because the story is not something you haven't seen before. Guy saves the world, gets the girl. Nothing really haven't seen before. And the reason why this movie suffers a little bit is that the comedy. They really try to sell you on the comedy. Now, if this was an Iron Man movie, then I would get the comedy, because Tony Stark is one of those characters where you get the one-liners and everything. But not for Thor. Thor should be a little bit more realistic and darker in tone. And especially with a director who's done Game of Thrones, which is a serious show, Thor movie should be a lot more darker. The comedy in the movie was like a lot of misses more than hits, because it really tried to sell you on the comedy, and most of the comedy did not work. There were some good laughing moments there, but for the most part, these jokes did not hit. Now for me, what lacked in the movie is a good, prominent villain. Now, in the first movie, we had Loki as the villain. He was good. He had like a little backstory. But this movie, the villain was okay. I'm not going to say it's great. I mean, I'm not even going to put him up to the top where the best villains of the year, but he was just okay for me. He wasn't really all that great. So even though I like Thor: The Dark World, I still find it a little generic in my opinion, because it doesn't change the game as far as comic book movies or superhero movies. I enjoyed it, but it's not something you have not seen before. Now, with that being said, I'm going to give Thor: The Dark World 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's not a terrible movie or bad movie. It's an entertaining one, but it's something you've seen before. So, with that being said, if you've seen Thor, did you like it, hate it, what do you think of it? Please rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time,